Tonight on CTV News, major break for police investigating extortion.
These 3 suspects were arrested on October the 3rd, and charges have now been laid.
And that's not all. Just as more extortion violence rocks Metro Vancouver, what we know about the suspects.
1 day longer! 1 day longer! 1 day longer! 1 day longer!
Thousands of striking workers descend on the legislature. What week 6 of the BCGEU strike will mean for the public. And a developing story in Surrey. Police are investigating a shooting and a suspicious package left in their station.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news and a large police presence in Whalley where someone fired shots at a police station this afternoon. Let's go right to CTV's Ben Nesbitt live at the scene on King George Boulevard. Ben, what do we know?
Really, John, I got here about an hour ago. It was one of the largest police presences I've ever seen in my time doing this. And when I got here, there was dozens and dozens of officers outside, dozens of vehicles. What we know is around 4 p.m. today, police say someone opened fire on the department here. And then after that, there's a twofold incident here. They also believe there was a bag left by the suspect inside, and they were concerned potentially something explosive was in that bag. But in the last 20 minutes or so, I have seen more and more officers head back inside to the building. We have not got official confirmation of the all clear on that. However, police are saying police have said there's been no injuries in this incident. However, video shows there was ambulances on scene, and someone who is believed to be the suspect was seen, believed to be taking away in one of those ambulances. The area has been cordoned off for about a couple hours now. It's unsure when things will be opened back up, but we've just learned now that the Surrey police spokesperson is heading to this scene here. We will speak to them in the next 20-30 minutes here and hopefully have some more information. This obviously caps off a very disturbing day here in the city of Surrey. I'm sure you'll have more on that now. Back to you.
Thank you, Ben. A tense situation, and we will bring you more details as they become available to us. Well, this was actually the 4th shots fired incident in Surrey since early this morning. And today, police announced 7 men have been charged in connection with 3 different incidents. Overnight, this restaurant in South Surrey was shot up. It happened at about 2:20 a.m. on King George near 156th. The restaurant is part of the Ustad G76 chain. Police are investigating this as a possible extortion case as well.
And first I thought it was a transformer that went off because it sounds similar, but and then about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes later heard another one. And I figured, oh, it's just I thought it was just gangsters shooting at each other.
We are appealing to anyone who may have been in the area of the 2100 block, King George Boulevard, this morning between the hours of 2 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. If you witnessed anyone or any suspicious vehicles, to please contact police.
The restaurant chain was targeted less than 2 weeks ago with a separate shooting at a Maple Ridge location. And this video just into our newsroom. Police on scene after shots were fired at Ustad G76's Newton location. This is at 129 A Street and 76th Avenue. Several bullet holes pierced the front windows. It's just half a block away from Swift Radio, which was shot at last Monday. We're waiting to get more details from police. The restaurant chain has 9 locations in the Lower Mainland. We'll have more on the shootings and several arrests and charges coming up. The labor stalemate between striking public service workers in the province shows no sign of ending. The BCGEU job action is now in its 6th week, with dozens of liquor stores shut down and other services in limbo. Thousands of union members took their concerns to the legislature as politicians arrived for the start of the fall session. CTV Shannon Patterson has more.
Striking BCGEU workers were joined by members of other unions in a march through downtown Victoria Monday afternoon that culminated in a noisy rally at the legislature.
Let's see if everyone in the legislature can hear us.
The labor show of force comes as the BC General Employees Union strike enters its 6th week.
And we're standing united with a clear voice. We want a fair deal now.
The union is pushing for an 8% wage increase over 2 years. The province has offered 5%.
We're looking for an agreement that is both fair to these important government workers, but also fair to taxpayers, and that is a really compelling concern for me.
On Monday, nearly 20,000 BCGEU members at 306 work sites walked the picket line, and the union is vowing to escalate job action this week unless the province tables a better offer.
Walking that line for now 6 weeks, that's not something anyone does frivolously or superficially. Absolutely, we expect better out of this government.
I respect the right for them to be taking the action that they're taking. These are very valued government workers, and we'd like to be back at the table with them. We've brought forward an offer that we feel is reasonable, and we would like to get back to negotiations.
With the province and BCGEU at a stalemate, another 23,000 government workers are poised to take job action. On Friday, talks broke down between the bargaining association representing community-based healthcare workers and the Health Employers Association of BC.
Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be going to meet our members, to talk to them, to consult with them, and make preparations for a strike vote. This fight is about fairness. This fight is about dignity. But more than anything, this fight is about solidarity.
Yes. The unions are vowing to stand together against a province that insists it can't afford their demands.
And just in case this government, this cabinet doubts our resolve, we're here to win.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
Now to CTV's Rob Buffon live at the legislature, where despite the large protests, the business of governing went on. And Rob, politicians are facing labor unrest and other big issues this fall session.
That's right, Mei Jung. The folks who returned to work here after months away from the building, they could not help but hear the chants of thousands of upset government workers outside. Just one of several issues expected to dominate this fall session. It was a raucous return for the BC legislature. The fireworks outside echoing inside on the first day of the fall session.
Everything going to his political friends and insiders.
Opposition leader John Rustad taking aim at the NDP's lack of support for a new oil pipeline.
This premier seems to think that economy and revenue can run from ideology and unicorn farts.
As he promotes an imaginary pipeline project from Alberta to our north coast that will seriously compromise real major projects.
It was like back to school for the 93 politicians who work here, including Eleanor Sturco, sitting as an independent after getting turf from the Conservatives for pushing for Rustad's removal.
Right now, my thoughts are not on joining any parties. They're not on targeting any other party besides this government.
Sturco, one of 2 independents, along with 4 official parties in the House, including the Greens and BC One, led by another former Conservative, Dallas Brody.
We will be covering the topics that are sort of the elephants in the room, the sacred cows that people don't want to touch because they're so hot politically.
Simmering below the surface, ongoing speculation that Rustad still faces trouble in his caucus, fueled by a poll out Monday showing the NDP's support has increased and Conservatives has waned.
I think the message from the survey is just the stagnation of Rustad's leadership.
Rustad maintaining his party is focused on toppling the government, not him.
We have a lot of people that have a lot of different opinions, but I think most of the caucus, if not all the caucus, is united in the fact that the damage that's being done by this NDP government has to come to an end.
There are 2 months ahead in the fall session, and undoubtedly plenty of wild politics to come. And there's that caucus meeting scheduled for this evening in just under half an hour, set for 6:30. It's been speculated that it may include on the agenda a vote on John Rustad's leadership. We asked him about that today, and he did not answer, didn't weigh in, citing the convention that you're not supposed to talk about what's on tap for a caucus meeting. But fair to say this was day 1 of 2 months ahead of what will undoubtedly be wild BC politics. Mei Jung.
It's going to be an interesting session. Thank you, Rob. One Metro Vancouver strike has come to an end. Musicians with the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra have agreed to terms in principle on a new labor deal. Musicians walked out on September 25th, and several performances at the Orpheum had to be canceled. Representatives for the union and the Symphony Society got together and hammered out a new deal with the help of a mediator. According to the VSO, performances will resume at the Orpheum this Friday evening. Returning now to that rash of shots fired incidents in Surrey tonight, there's progress in the crime spree that has stumped police for months and sparked fear in the South Asian community. 7 men have been charged in connection to 3 different extortion-related events. CTV's Martin McMahon has that story.
After public pressure was really building for some action on this, now a series of charges have been approved against 7 men, with 6 of them having been arrested.
These investigations are extortion-related investigations, and they have led to the charges against these individuals.
This involves 3 separate investigations, 2 led by the Joint Force Operation and 1 by the Surrey Police Service.
So this is a step in the right direction, and we will keep ensuring that police have the resources they need through the BC Extortion Task Force and the work of their own municipalities to investigate these crimes.
It comes on the same day as this restaurant in South Surrey was shot up. It happened at about 2:20 a.m. on King George near 156th.
And first I thought it was a transformer that went off because it sounds similar, but and then about, 5-6 minutes later, heard another one. And I figured, it's just I thought it was just gangsters shooting at each other.
The restaurant is part of the Ustad G76 chain. Police are investigating this as a possible extortion case as well.
We are appealing to anyone who may have been in the area of the 2100 block, King George Boulevard, this morning between the hours of 2 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. If you witnessed anyone or any suspicious vehicles, to please contact police.
The restaurant chain was targeted less than 2 weeks ago with a separate shooting at a Maple Ridge location. So ultimately a day with a lot of action on this extortion issue, but on a day when police were hoping to probably restore some public confidence with word of these charges, that overnight restaurant shooting shows just how much of a live issue this still is. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Surrey.
BC's Attorney General and the minister responsible for post-secondary education are pitching plans to crack down on sexual violence. People who have had their intimate images shared without their consent could become eligible for higher compensation. It's one of the amendments being proposed to the Intimate Images Protection Act. If passed, the civil tribunal seeing cases could increase fines by 14 times the current limit, up to $75,000 in penalties.
There is no excuse for violating someone's trust, privacy, and dignity. If you engage in this type of terrible behavior, you will be punished. To those who have had their intimate images shared without their consent or are facing threats, you have done nothing wrong. No matter who you are, what your age is, or why you created those images, you have the right to privacy and safety.
The NDP government is also introducing legislation and an action plan to prevent and respond to sexual violence on post-secondary campuses. The minister says it closes gaps in the current legislation and ensures trauma-informed work. Surrey City Councillor and mayoral candidate Linda Annis has announced her first 4 candidates that will run for the Surrey First Party Council in next October's municipal election. Annis says retired journalist Janet Brown, along with Clint Stewart, Deb Antefave, and Taj Sandhu will be ready to hit the ground running should she be elected. The candidates would be coming to the council table from a variety of industries, including communications and construction. Annis, who is also executive director of the Metro Vancouver Crime Stoppers, was first elected to Surrey Council in 2018 and re-elected in 2022. She announced her run for mayor last month. There was a ceremonial transfer of leadership today at the Vancouver Police Department.
Here in Vancouver, urban policing is uniquely complex. It requires special leadership, and I know that we have that in Chief Constable Rye.
A ceremony marked the transition of command from former Chief Constable Adam Palmer to Chief Constable Steve Rye. Rye took over the top job in May after Palmer announced he was leaving to join the RCMP VP as an assistant commissioner. Rai joined the VPD in 1990 and has worked in several roles, including as a recruit unit investigator, an emergency response team crisis negotiator, and director in charge of the human resources section. Residents of Vancouver can help grow the city's urban forest canopy with the return of the fall tree sale. Each household can purchase up to 3 trees for $15 each. There were 19 varieties available, including Japanese maple, Honeycrisp apple, and magnolia, that are all suited to Vancouver's growing conditions. The trees are meant to be planted on private property and support the city's effort to increase the urban canopy cover from 25 to 30% by the year 2050. The trees are available to order now online and can be picked up later this month.
We know trees make such a difference to the environment. They help to counter climate change, and they also provide a peaceful and restful environment for our patients and our residents.
Healthcare workers gathered for a tree planting at Holy Family Hospital in South Vancouver today to mark the first ever National Day of Action on Planetary Health. It was one of dozens of events across the country meant to highlight the link between environmental and human health organizations representing more than 250,000 health professionals. Also released a letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney calling on the government to take a coordinated national approach to address planetary health. And you're looking at a live shot from Grouse Mountain, a beautiful evening capping off a day full of sunshine and blue skies. A great October day.
Yeah, a great way to kick off the work week. We had a beautiful day yesterday, and yeah, I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy it today, because things will change heading into tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at these temperatures across the Lower Mainland. 16 at the Harbour. You're looking at 18 degrees in Burnaby, as well as in Pitt Meadows. 21 in Surrey right now, as well as in Chilliwack. Abbotsford sitting at 19 degrees. As we head through the overnight, it'll be clear, a cool 9 degrees. Into tomorrow, we'll start off sunny. It does cloud over through the afternoon with a high of 16.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
A line of showers possibly bringing some sprinkles tomorrow. It will be unsettled as we head into the next couple of days. I've got those details coming up.
A little cooler in the mornings. Yes. Almost glove weather, you think?
No way.
I've seen some people wearing gloves.
Wow, they must have very sensitive fingers.
Not me, though. All right, thanks, Anne. A new attraction is coming to Surrey this winter. We'll have more on that. And
for the first time, they were able to function at nighttime. They were able to walk in the dark and even stargazing.
A life-changing operation in Vancouver preventing a 15-year-old boy from going blind. When CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. Eye surgeons at Vancouver General Hospital have helped a pair of patients reverse conditions that could have eventually left them completely blind. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, thanks to the new retinal gene therapy, the future looks bright for a northern BC teen.
Any changes? Yeah, most definitely. Been a lot brighter.
Born with a rare genetic eye disorder, 15-year-old Dominic Juliet has always had problems seeing in low light, and it was getting worse.
Even in shady spots like here, for example, I wouldn't be able to see much, and I would constantly have to hold on to my grandma's shoulder or arm whenever I'm around her in a dimly lit area.
The condition, known as Leber's congenital amaurosis, affects about 1 in 50,000 people, and until recently was irreversible.
So with time, he will gradually lose more and more his regular vision, including day visions, and then eventually he may lose complete visions.
Dominic is from Fort St. James and came here to the Vancouver General Hospital Eye Care Center, where he went under the laser. This is actual video of the surgery where he became only the second patient at the center to receive a new gene replacement therapy. After several weeks of recovery, he can now see better than ever and even feels comfortable riding an electric scooter, which he never did before because of his vision.
His self-confidence level has gone to the roof.
Yeah, he's really a good kid. He's energetic. He wants to get out and do more.
The procedure has given Dominic the freedom to rely more on himself, a big adjustment for his caregivers.
I know that she said to me at one point, she said, I don't know what to do now because I've been his eyes for 15 years.
Yeah.
Lam says soon even more patients with the same condition will benefit from the procedure.
Maybe for the first time they were able to function at nighttime. They were able to walk in the dark and even stargazing.
For Dominic, it's even impacted his bedtime.
I personally found it disappointing that I felt the need to go to bed so early because I couldn't see. And now that doesn't apply anymore, so it feels pretty good.
Suddenly, his future looks very bright. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Get ready to lace up your skates. A free outdoor skating rink is coming to Surrey this winter. The 4,000-square-foot rink will make its debut at the Surrey Civic Plaza in late November during the city's tree lighting festival. It will operate for 12 weeks as part of a pilot project. Skate and helmet rentals will be available on site, as well as hot chocolate and a variety of food trucks. Chinatown came alive with Mid-Autumn Festival celebrations today. One event was especially meaningful as 150 low-income seniors were treated to a day of culture and appreciation. The day included traditional lion dancing, live opera, and a complimentary lunch with plenty of prizes to be handed out. The goal of the gathering was to uplift and recognize seniors within the community and give them a place to celebrate the occasion together.
At this age, we should recognize, their help, and also to make sure that they feel, culturally, have culturally appropriate events and cuisine, and make that they are not left alone.
The Mid-Autumn Festival is also known as the Full Moon Festival. It's a time to gather with loved ones and appreciate the fall harvest. More anger from the Ontario Premier, what he plans on doing in response to a planned shutdown by a liquor giant. Also ahead.
I'll be very blunt. You never know what comes out of a meeting with President Trump.
Growing pressure on the Prime Minister. He's on his way to meet with Donald Trump. Pierre Poilievre says it's time to see some results on tariffs. That's ahead. Prime Minister Mark Carney is off to Washington again for another high-stakes meeting with U.S. President Trump. While the Carney government is trying to temper expectations, there is pressure on the Prime Minister to find some tariff relief for hard-hit sectors like steel and aluminum. CTV's Mike LeCouture reports.
Canadian officials are cautiously optimistic that tomorrow's meeting could pave the way for some relief on steel tariffs. And politicians from both sides of the border are hoping for the same.
I'll be very blunt. You never know what comes out of a meeting with President Trump.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is hoping for some tariff relief, but says the U.S. president will say one thing one day and then change course the next. At a gathering of governors and premiers from around the Great Lakes, Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro said tariffs are hurting the U.S.
We're still seeing prices go way up because the president decided to push the tariff button and drive up costs on the American people. It is dangerous, the rhetoric he's engaged in, and his practices are making things cost more.
U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum remain at 50%, while Trump is increasing levies on other products like softwood lumber and wood furniture. One former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations for then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau believes Tuesday's meeting could yield some progress.
Either because you hope that you're close to an agreement and you would like to push it over the finish line with a signature moment and a handshake and an opportunity, or to push forward on something that's stalled or slowed.
Expectations are high from opposition leader Pierre Poilievre. In a letter to the Prime Minister, the Conservative leader demanded Carney keep his campaign promise to negotiate a win, including the removal of all tariffs on Canadian goods. A White House spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, says trade will be one of the many issues discussed between Carney and Trump when they meet in the Oval Office. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is threatening to pull more booze off liquor store shelves in response to a planned bottling plant closure in the province. The plant is operated by Diageo, which owns Crown Royal, as well as other well-known liquor brands like Smirnoff, Bailey's, and Captain Morgan. The closure would cost around 200 Canadian jobs, with the work shifting to the U.S.
We do over $765 million, more than any jurisdiction anywhere in the U.S. or in Canada. And they want to close down a plant over, what, $8 million of wages they think they're going to save?
Ford says they will take Crown Royal off the shelves as soon as the last person leaves the plant. And next, they will take aim at Smirnoff, which is the biggest selling vodka brand in the country. A warning for car owners who buy Gap insurance. Don't assume it covers certain pricey add-ons. Also coming up.
Tim Hortons is often the first. We are expecting other chains to follow suit.
Tim Hortons is hiking its coffee prices for the first time in 3 years. Coffee lovers have been hit hard. How tariffs are playing a role. That's ahead.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
If you're buying a car, you may be pitched Gap insurance. It can pay off your loan if you owe more than a car is worth. But Gap insurance can be expensive, and as one viewer found out, it doesn't cover everything if your car is written off or stolen. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
In March of this year, Sujesh Putinvitil of Mississauga bought a 2023 Audi A4. Unfortunately, in June, just 3 months later, the car was stolen.
Middle of the night from my driveway.
With financing, he paid almost $54,000 for the car. Included in the price, he also paid for a 3-year maintenance package, a 6-year extended warranty, and Gap insurance. Gap insurance is guaranteed asset protection. In the event your vehicle is totaled or stolen, it pays off your loan if you owe more than your car is worth.
I contacted the Gap insurance. So they said they are not going to cover everything.
When the car was stolen, Putinvitil's insurance company paid just over $39,000 for the car, and the Gap insurance paid almost $6,400. But there is still an amount owing of $6,900. That's because Gap insurance doesn't cover things like warranties and maintenance packages.
Since I haven't used any of them, and I'm using my car only for 3 months, they should refund that to me.
Oftentimes, a lot of those products don't add any value to the vehicle. So if your vehicle is written off, but you owe thousands of dollars for all of the add-ons that you purchased, well, you're on the hook for that.
Car Help Canada says dealerships pitch expensive add-ons that may not be worth buying. And if you do, and your car is written off in an accident or stolen, you might not be reimbursed for them. If you're considering Gap insurance, make sure you know what's covered before buying it.
Not only is Gap insurance often very overpriced, but it's a product for a problem that should not exist to begin with.
Putinvitil says his dealer offered to refund $600 for the maintenance package, and the warranty company offered him $250. He would still owe $6,000 for a car he no longer has.
Since I owe like $6,000, I don't have any plan to buy a car.
The night sky will shine bright this evening thanks to the largest and brightest full moon so far this year. Tonight's harvest moon will double as the first super moon of 2025. That means the moon is about as close to the Earth as it gets, making it appear bigger and brighter. A harvest moon occurs closest to the autumnal equinox, which helped farmers during the crucial harvest season before we had electricity.
Wow.
Don't remember those days, but nice to have the moon with or without electricity.
Yes,
right?
Nice and bright. And it was already bright last night. Tonight will be even brighter and bigger, and we've got clear skies for it. So this is what it looks like right now from our camera on top of Grouse Mountain, looking out towards the city. Sun slowly setting. The set time is 6:39 tonight, so in the next couple of minutes or so. So clear conditions, all thanks to this ridge of high pressure. As you can see on our satellite radar imagery, we do have a front pushing its way in. So right now, bringing in some some rain for the Central Coast and the southern tip of Haida Gwaii. Into tomorrow morning for your early morning commute. It'll slide down towards the Sunshine Coast with some showers for the northern tip of Vancouver Island as well, keeping things dry for the south coast. But then clouds return in the afternoon with that line of showers slowly just skirting by Metro Vancouver. So here's what we can expect with a closer look of the south coast and the lower mainland. Increasing cloud coverage through the early morning hours, and then we can start to see a few showers, especially for the northeast corner of Metro Vancouver through Maple Ridge, but then slowly clearing as we head into tomorrow night. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for the southern interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. As mentioned earlier, a few showers for Port Hardy before it clears up quite nicely. 16 for Campbell River and Comox under a mix of sun and cloud. That's what you can expect for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria, with the exception of the southern Gulf Islands. You'll see mostly cloudy skies, a few sunny breaks, and 16 degrees. For the Sunshine Coast, you'll start off sunny. Does cloud over through the afternoon with a high of 15 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies up the Sea to Sky Highway, touch warmer. 17 for Whistler, 18 for Squamish, and for us across the lower mainland. For the most part, it'll be dry. We start off sunny. It does cloud over. Temperatures between 16 and 17. A few sprinkles, especially for the northeast corner of Metro Vancouver. Into Wednesday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday. Showers return Friday afternoon with cloudy skies and a few showers on Saturday to kick off the Thanksgiving long weekend. The sunny breaks on Sunday, and then we'll be thankful for mostly sunny skies on Monday with a high of 14. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So not too bad at all. Just, yeah, a few sprinkles here and there. We're not expecting a lot of accumulations whatsoever.
And tonight, the sky will cooperate for the harvest moon.
Definitely.
Right?
So I bet you can see it right now.
I know. We drive home in the dark now, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, your morning perked pick-me-up now comes at a premium. From dry weather impacting crops to the ripple effects of U.S. tariffs. It's all a recipe for price hikes that's leaving a bad taste in the mouths of Canadians. That's next on CTV News at 6. At today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 81 cents closing the day at $61.69 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $67 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both ended the day higher, up 60 points and 63 points respectively. Getting a daily caffeine fix is becoming increasingly more expensive. Coffee prices continue to climb, and now one of Canada's go-to spots for a cup of joe is hiking its prices for the first time in 3 years. CTV's Austin Lee reports.
For some, it's a frustrating move.
It's crazy why the prices are going up. I mean, you don't think we don't pay enough for everything? I mean, it's going up in the supermarket as well.
Tim Hortons increasing its coffee prices by 1.5%, the first price hike from the coffee giant in 3 years.
Meh. I have a lot of things to worry about, and a couple cents on my coffee is not really one of them.
The increase comes after a turbulent few years for the coffee bean market. Tim's says the hike is more than reasonable, noting prices have more than doubled over 3 years. At the grocery store, coffee beans jumped by almost 28% in just 1 year.
It's about 50% more than the 5-year average right now, and we don't see how that price will drop anytime soon. So it was just a matter of time before we saw some chains announcing an increase.
Much of the coffee beans brought into Canada come from places like Brazil, where dry weather is impacting growing conditions. On top of that, tariffs aren't helping. Before much of Canada's coffee supply makes its way here from Brazil, it goes through the States, where it faces a 50% tariff. And even if an importer can avoid the U.S.,
tariffs will create this inflationary pressure that impacts every single trader around the world, because the United States is a huge market.
What cost us $26,000 in November of 2024, in February of 2025 costs us $40,000.
For locally owned shops like Little Victories, price swings have forced them to increase prices this year, but they have been able to circumvent most of Trump's tariffs.
We have the benefit of buying huge amounts of coffee, shipping them directly to Canada, missing the tariffs, and we negotiate directly with the producer in terms of the price that we pay.
Meantime, analysts expect other chains to follow in Tim Hortons' footsteps.
Tim Hortons is often the first. We are expecting other chains to follow suit.
K-pop Demon Hunters has gone up the charts again, returning to the top of the Billboard 200 album chart. The soundtrack for the smash hit Netflix animated film beat out the debuts of new albums by Mariah Carey and Doja Cat. However, it will face a big test next week when Taylor Swift's new album hits the charts. The Blue Jays heading to the Bronx with a shot at sweeping the Yankees. Plus, breaking news. Adam finds out the story behind a proposal caught on camera seconds before a live news broadcast. That's coming up on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning, Vancouver.
We're watching for developments in the Canada Post strike Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver as the two sides consider their options, what the future looks like for the service. Also, how would you rate your own personal emergency preparedness, from earthquakes to wildfires? What a new study is revealing about the steps that we're taking. Plus, here's something to talk about. It's National Taco Day. We'll see you in the morning.
Big news from the hockey world. The Edmonton Oilers and their captain Connor McDavid have reached an agreement on a contract extension.
When you see Connor's, it's obvious what he wants, which is he wants to win, and his actions have shown that. I think that's a pretty inspiring thing for a player to see.
It's a 2-year contract extension worth about $12.5 million a season. The agreement comes less than a week after Oilers general manager Stan Bowman said that it was not a guarantee McDavid would begin the season with a contract. McDavid is about to begin the last season of an 8-year, $100 million deal that he signed in 2017. After decisive wins over the weekend in Toronto, the Blue Jays have arrived in New York City, ready to take on the Yankees in the third and what could be the final game of the ALDS. CTV's Allison Hurst has been speaking with fans today, including one who has a souvenir from yesterday's game that he will never forget.
A moment in Blue Jays franchise history. Caught in the stands by Brendan Craig, barehanded, overhead, in the second deck.
Instincts took over, and I played ball my whole life, so all those years of practicing and playing, they finally paid off.
Craig and his wife bought their tickets on Facebook Marketplace to catch the game.
Funny enough, the person who I bought the tickets off, his pitch to sell them was good spot for a Vladdy bomb.
The seats lived up to the promise, made sweeter by it also being the first Grand Slam in postseason franchise history. But the history-making didn't stop there.
6 Ks through 2 2/3.
Rookie pitcher Trey Yesavage took the mound in his first ever postseason start.
He's built for this game. It's awesome.
Setting a franchise record 11 strikeouts in a no-hit postseason game, and he did it in just 5 innings.
What a nice young man. That very pleased the way he's handling the situation.
Yesavage felt the support at the mound.
The energy and the passion that this fan base has, and all 44,000 people that were here tonight, is special.
With the way the entire team played this weekend,
Now Varsho drills one.
fans are feeling pretty confident heading to the Bronx.
3-0 and keep going up to the World Series.
The team is so good this year. I think that they're gonna go just up till they win.
Optimistic but not cocky. So I think we can get this series, but it's one game at a time.
Craig will be watching, Grand Slam ball in hand, but what he's going to do with it?
I don't really know, don't have a plan yet. If they're interested in it, I'd be happy to talk with them and get it back, because it's a pretty historic ball.
In an historic series, that's not over yet.
Pitch to Polanco. Swing, fly ball, driven deep, driven back, left field, gone!
Meantime, the Mariners edged the Detroit Tigers 3-2 last night for Seattle's first home playoff win in almost a quarter of a century. That series is now tied at 1 game apiece, with Game 3 set for tomorrow afternoon in Detroit. I'm sure there are some Mariners fans in Vancouver pretty excited about that. Do you guys, are you good at corn mazes?
No, I'm so scared of them.
Me too. We're
all terrified.
I think it brings out the claustrophobia in all of us, right? Okay, well, finally tonight, a corn maze in New Brunswick is paying tribute to legendary Canadian rock band Blue Rodeo.
A fan ever since I can remember. I mean, since Blue Rodeo started. I remember listening to them in my tractor. Someone gave me a tape.
It's beautiful. I mean, we just saw pictures of it a couple of days ago, and it's truly, it's amazing. Beautiful.
The Hunter Brothers farm has created a 6-acre puzzle. That's huge. Celebrating the band's 40 years together. It's a multi-step process. Once they think of the design, they work with a graphic designer to draw it out, and then an engineer plots out exactly where they need to remove the corn. Amazing work. Congratulations to Blue Rodeo. So not a traditional maze where you could just get lost forever.
You could definitely get lost forever there.
It's a fairly large one. I would go with one of those flags.
I just wouldn't go in there.
Like, rescue me if I'm lost.
A helium balloon hanging from your head.
Okay, well, Craig is here now with a preview of CTV News at 11:30.
Yeah, we have a few stories that we're tracking, Mee Jung. That includes a brazen daytime shooting in Surrey. Our Ben Nesbitt is at the scene at King George Boulevard and 107th, where the reports of a gunfire rang out near Gateway SkyTrain station. A suspect is now in custody. This is now 4 possible shootings in Surrey in the last 24 hours. We will have the latest from police after a chaotic day in BC's second largest city at 11:30. Mee Jung?
Yeah, chaotic is right. The news just kept coming in all afternoon. Okay, thank you, Craig. Finally, just moments before going live, a CTV News team in Victoria witnessed a very different kind of breaking news, a surprise proposal. Adam has their love story on tonight's Sawatsky Sign-Off.
They were seconds away from broadcasting live.
Yeah.
Rob in front of the camera, Orlando behind.
What's that?
When reporting on the first story in the newscast,
Kevin, striking public service workers
led to happening upon this last one.
But we have an engagement going on in front of me.
But Ella Van Enter didn't know that yet. She just thought she was visiting Victoria to show her boyfriend, Alex Benton, the BC Parliament buildings, one of her favorite places growing up.
And all of my best memories are here.
And over the past 2 years they've been dating, all Alex's best memories are with Ella. So he enlisted her sister and aunt to help with a surprise proposal here.
When she met him, it was like instant. He hasn't even ever seen her disability.
Ella has cerebral palsy. And while Alex fell in love with her sitting in a wheelchair, he recalled her saying she'd never want to get engaged in one. So he secretly arranged for Ella to be able to sit in a clear chair for his proposal, framed by flowers.
Took me completely by surprise. I was not expecting this at all.
Well, Rob and Orlando weren't expecting it either.
Orlando, 10 seconds, everybody.
But they do know a thing or two about covering breaking news.
That's pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome.
So they juggled between broadcasting opposing political sides saying no.
What's that?
And capturing an exuberant Ella saying yes.
She said yes.
The whole thing is so surreal. Like, I actually can't even believe this is happening right now.
I feel amazing. Yeah, I'm so happy that she's happy and that she was surprised. That was a big goal of mine.
While the goal of journalists is to ask the 5 W's, who, what, when, where, the most important part of this story is how these fiancés answered why.
I mean, I love you. That's pretty much all that needs to be said, I think.
Congrats.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
That's
a great story.
I know, that was right before Rob Buffham's 5 o'clock live hit on Friday. Yeah. A 2-for-1 story.
That is amazing. Hopefully they invite Rob and Orlando to their wedding.
I think it has to go that way, yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations to the beautiful couple. And speaking of beautiful, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. A beautiful day at Britannia Beach. Thanks, Brenda, for sending this gorgeous photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. Blue skies and sunshine.
Yeah, I love the turquoise color of the water. Okay, Craig's back at 11:30. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.